Candy Canyons. Amigos. A darles. Probati no es gracioso. Hay cánidos muriendo. Nos atacan, pero bueno. Es que defienden su territorio nada más. ¿Y eso qué mierda es? Raptidón coloso. Escupe ácido. Au. Nada más. ¡Oh! Dale. Bueno. ¿Quién me está dando esto? Ay, me muevo muy lentamente. Déjame de joder con la raptifobia, juego. No quiero tus mierdas de desventaja. Por un mísero punto. O sea, si no me pareció leer mal antes, había uno que era... te parece que te has caído de una altura considerable, ahora vas a caminar lento por siempre. ¿Quién mierda va a querer esa mejora? Nadie. Te lo digo yo, te lo confirmo. Nadie. Ay, Dios. No sé si se escucha la lluvia pesada de fondo que tengo ahora mismo en mi ventana, pero sí, está ahí. Y al no tener una habitación insonora, bueno, voy a tener sonidos de ambiente. Pero así es. ¿Qué mierda es esto? Aunque mis heridas son letales, yo como bizantino debo afrontar mi muerte con la misma dignidad con la que viví mi vida. Por tanto, por la presente expongo los eventos que condujeron a mi fallecimiento. Un trágico giro del destino me separó de mis guías. La pareja huyó en cuanto el grupo se topó con un raptidón solitario, cobardes. Yo, sin embargo, saqué mi rifle y derribé a la bestia, aunque no pude evitar que antes hundiese sus colmillos en mi carne. Supongo que será lo más delicado que haya probado jamás en este lugar dejado de la mano de la ley. Quizás mis guías me localicen antes de perecer, pero dudo que esos simplones sean capaces siquiera de salir de una caja de cartón. Creo que se hacían llamar Larry y Bell, o algo igual de mundano. Quien quiera que encuentre esto, que por favor cumpla mi último deseo. Enviar mi valoración de 1 estrella sobre 5 para el Gran Colonial. Los guías fueron muy poco serviciales. Saludos cordiales, Howard Kinsella. Esos mierdas. Pero acá hay un grupito de personas. ¿Qué están haciendo acá? ¿Eh? Su guía está por ahí, lo están... Hay que enterrarlo, hay que darle un entierro digno. Vengan acá a atacar donde están los turistas. Por las dudas. ¿Todo bien ahí? Otra vez, no. Tal vez debería esperar a que pare un poco la maldita lluvia. Pero no, la verdad que no tengo ganas. Vamos a hacerlo así nomás y el carajo. Total, vienen pasando lo mismo en todos los capítulos. Es increíble este juego. Increíblemente aburrido, la verdad. ¿Y esto qué mierda es? Bueno, debe ser un easter egg que no comprendo. Mi limitada mente de argentino simplón no me permite entender ciertos chistes de esta gente, de estos iluminados. Así que no me voy a... ¿Qué mierda pasa? Tantos problemas para ese bicho de mierda, vamos. ¿Dónde está la última maldita tarjeta? Tiene que estar por aquí en alguna parte. Y con un estúpido raptidón coloso de regalo, por supuesto. De regalo con su compra. ¡Oh! Partate. O como te llames, deja de gritar, por favor. Con la armadura que tenés no deberías sentir absolutamente nada. Ni el viento deberías sentir. Otra más. Yo contra el mundo. Ok, vení acá, basura. Dios. Listo. Anda con mami. Listo, arriba, inútiles. ¿Dónde está la tarjeta? Aquí está. Cartuchos de bits y esta mierda. Ok, bien. ¿Dónde estaban esos dos inútiles? Por allá. Vos.
Hey there. You find us those keys?
Ah, sí. He pensado que lo mejor sería ocultarlas. Están detrás del arco del cañón del caramelo.
Wow, that's really smart. That way we can just act like we found them out there. It's foolproof.
I guess if you've got Lawrence saying things like foolproof, you must have an ironclad plan. Thanks for the help, Inspector. You're a lifesaver.
De nada. No me lo agradezcáis. Los dos vais a tener lo que os merecéis. Así de ominoso. ¿Qué mierda? ¿Qué pasó? Bueno, dale, hace algo. ¿Eh? Entre las hojas caídas y las huellas de los animales se distingue un rastro más reciente.
Identifying human footprints leading out into the wilderness. It is unusual for productivity disciples to wander more than a few feet from the camp.
¿Son de Cayetana?
Scanning. No. Helen's distinctive shoe size not found. Judging by footprint depressions and shoe size, these prints were either made by the prophet of profitability or adjutant.
Ay, no voy a tener que seguir las pisaditas de la profeta también. Oh. Mierda, no, yo me voy a mandar acá adentro. Por si acaso está acá. Oh, sí, debe ser la profeta de la rentabilidad. Y acá adentro algún idiota me va a decir: no, la profeta de la rentabilidad se fue a pasear por ahí y después la vamos a encontrar muerta. Cuántos velones. Estaban haciendo trabajos. ¿Hay alguien acá? Alguien corriendo por ahí. Discípulo. Ok. No mires para acá. Carga plasma, dame todo, no importa. Que voy a tener mala reputación con los movimentarios estos. Que el hacedor no lo quiere así. Ay, Dios. ¿Esto qué mierda es? No sé. Una cartita. Era. Aviso a todos los empleados de las cuevas horadadas. Lamentamos informarles de que este complejo atmosférico ahora pertenece a Sublight, unidad de gasterópodo. Las condiciones del nuevo acuerdo corporativo interno establecen que todos los empleados de Rizo que permanezcan en el complejo serán considerados espías por Sublight, unidad gasterópodo. Mientras permanezca aquí, carecerá de la protección de Rizo y dejará de percibir salario alguno por su trabajo. Diríjase a las instalaciones de Rizo para continuar con el proceso. De lo contrario, será eliminado por Sublight, unidad gasterópodo, o por los secuaces de Rizo. Si desea seguir con vida, evite hacer un mal uso de los recursos de la compañía. Gracias. Qué convincentes. No tiene nombre. Vos tenés nombre. Uy, me quemo. ¡Au!
Hello. Welcome to the Prophet of Profitability's Private Prosperity Retreat. Stay positive, and soon all your humors will be balanced. At least, that's what I keep telling myself. Anyway, I'm Aaliyah Mason. I work as the Prophet's right-hand woman. What can I do for you?
¿Conoces bien a la profeta?
Of course. I've been studying under her for years. I know each of her techniques more or less by heart, and even have some variations of my own, such as the quintuple daily stomach purges. She's promised me that I'd be allowed to open my own branch of the retreat someday soon. Of course, I've been waiting on someday soon for coming up on 4 years now. I'm sure it's gonna happen anytime now.
Algún día, Alicia. ¿Qué puedes contarme del retiro?
If you felt imbalanced and unproductive, linger in your malaise no longer. We have all the amenities and practices for calming the ill humors strangling your potential. Sit for hours in our sweat house and sweat them out, or stand amidst burning coals and feel your productive inhibitions burn away. And remember, think positive. Positivity equals productivity equals profitability.
Para ser una discípula del positivismo no eres la alegría de la huerta.
Oh, terribly sorry if I gave you that impression. I had a cramp. It's better now. I mean, it might be nice if I had a little inclination of whether the prophet appreciated all the cooking and cleaning and hours of meditation I do on a daily basis. But whatever she thinks isn't for me to question. I'll do my best to be more chipper.
Me han contratado para investigar el asesinato de Cayetana del Sion. Me gustaría hacerte unas preguntas.
Oh my. Yes, this is important enough for
Son
me to delay my
protocolares nada más, no
bi-hourly
te preocupes.
self-flagellation.
Sé que no
Ask
fuiste
away.
vos. La profeta no se llevaba muy bien con Cayetana del Sion, ¿verdad?
Yes, the circumstances there are quite unfortunate. For a time, the prophet was completely despondent. Even the hot coal walks weren't buoying her spirits as they usually do. However, we recently had a high-profile visitor whose presence seemed to alleviate whatever the prophet's fears were.
Spencer Bullrich.
Oh, you must have misheard me. I said high profile, not had profile. Mr. Woolrich comes by much too often to be worth mentioning.
¿Ha pasado algo raro en el retiro últimamente?
Well, by and large, no. But something rather odd did happen regarding the prophet recently. A few hours after our high-profile visitor arrived a couple of days ago, the prophet asked me to take over sessions for the remainder of the day. At first, I was excited. Thought it was my chance to show her what I could do in charge. But then I saw that she was deeply worried about something. No one saw her until the next day.
¿Dónde estabas cuando se produjo el asesinato?
I was here, at the retreat in the company of the other disciples and clients. I rarely have more than a few minutes of alone time. Which is fine, of course. I do what I do in the service of the prophet. Who will, I'm sure, reward me for my sacrifice. Eventually.
Eso es todo por ahora.
Certainly.
Adiós.
Actually, before you go, I want to report something suspicious. I noticed the prophet's dragging something, a bundle, away from the retreat after that high-profile guest arrived. Normally, I'm the one who does her laundry, so it was strange. Especially because whatever she was dragging seemed oddly human-shaped.
¿Crees que era un cadáver?
I think so. Had the right size and shape.
¿No podrías haberlo denunciado con un poquito más de antelación?
I could have, but I generally don't have the time or energy to leave the reserve to contact anyone. Plus, there's always the possibility that I'm mistaken. The prophet hasn't been herself lately, but if I misinterpreted the situation and reported her improperly, I'd ruin my chances for opening my own wing of the retreat.
Lo investigaré. Una computadora, Ay, por favor. ¿Y la tengo que hackear? No, menos mal. Saludos, si quiere apuntarse a un seminario, hable directamente con la profeta de la rentabilidad. Los mensajes de este terminal son privados. Si los lee, se desequilibrarán sus humores corporales. Va a renunciar al superávit solo por el placer de fijar. Profeta, mis agentes me han comunicado que lo que dije sobre tus seminarios, es decir, que no asistí a ellos, te hará perder un 30% de ingresos durante los próximos 3 meses como mínimo. Fue un comentario sin más, y ni mucho menos pretendía perjudicarte de esta manera. Supongo que ese es el precio de la fama, la gente interpreta tus palabras como quiere. Estaba pensando en asistir a una de tus sesiones de hoy para compensártelo. Sé que te aviso con muy poca antelación, pero espero que puedas hacerme un hueco. Quería preguntarte qué tal te ha funcionado la mezcla de hierbas que te mandé. No estaba seguro de si sería buena idea usarlas en sesiones de meditación, pero ¿qué va a saber un tipo como yo sobre productividad? Dicho esto, recuerda lo que te dije. No los cortes de forma simétrica para no cargarte la textura. No los dejes al sol y por el amor de la ley ni se te ocurra pasarte con la dosis. Lo último que quieres es dejar a alguien en coma o aún peor, mandarlo al otro barrio. Úsalos con moderación. Los asistentes a triplique sus beneficios mediante el trascendentalismo. Estamos de acuerdo en que tus seminarios son los mejores y con mucha diferencia. Los ingresos totales de todos nuestros negocios han aumentado un 0,5% desde que asistimos al seminario. Es verdad que se queda con un 0,1% tras quitarle el coste de los materiales, el transporte y otros gastos, pero no deja de ser una subida. Si alguna vez te pasas por el Gran Colonial, estaremos encantados de invitarte una copa. Gracias a ti, nos lo podemos permitir. Esa Ruth Bellamy es Cayetana del Sion, ¿no? Son la misma persona. Parece que alguien... Todo apunta a alguien. ¿Dónde?
Analysis suggests this to be a variety of herbs. Herbs have been uniformly treated with a pungent chemical mix. Warning. Ingesting, smoking, or inserting non-corporation sanctioned substances into your ears may be harmful to your health.
Seguro que sueltan un humo muy tóxico al quemarlas.
Side effects from extended exposure include dizziness, nausea, and unconsciousness. Additional likelihood of organ shutdown and or death.
Ampliador de discrepancias. ¿Cómo crees que se utilizan estas hierbas?
Prior analysis suggests these herbs reach peak effectiveness when users burn them and inhale the resulting smoke. Whether or not this increased effectiveness is good for an afflicted individual has yet to be determined.
¿Puedes analizar los compuestos químicos de estas plantas?
Analyzing. Complete. Substance appears to be a mix of industrial solvents and various essential oils. Substances include woolly cow dander remover, sprat oil, and starship surface wax.
Probar hierbas. Aunque están secas y son difíciles de masticar, las hierbas son menos amargas de lo que pensabas. Saben mucho a campo, como el tripical, y dejan bastante rebustillo. La verdad es que saben mejor que el salatún, pero hasta un calcetín sudado sabe mejor que el salatún.
Hypothesizing. Potential side effects from herb consumption. Most likely outcome, decapitation. Slight possibility of calculation error.
Muy bien, toma nota y sigamos a lo nuestro. ¿Algo más?
Fruitful and productive welcome, brother. I had a feeling you would visit me. I offer a wide variety of productivity seminars. I hope you'll consider taking one. But I should remember my manners. To what do I owe the pleasure of the Special Inspector's arrival?
¿Cómo sabes que soy inspector?
My disciples come to and from the Grand Colonial, bringing supplies and information. Knowing what happens at the hotel affects my livelihood, after all. With that said, I'd love to involve you in one of my productivity seminars. We should clear you of all those nasty, nasty humors hampering your potential.
¿No dijo Cayetana del Sion que eras un fraude?
Absolutely not. Any statements by Ms. Helen about us were blown out of proportion and altered by the media. In fact, she quite recently... excuse me. I seem to be remembering something that never happened. Whatever the case, I'm sure her speech about us was all a misunderstanding.
Últimamente he notado que no aprovecho todo mi potencial. ¿Qué me ofreces?
We offer a wide variety of seminars for all your corporate needs. Employees not working hard enough? Employees dying too often? It's most likely your managerial humors. And of course, seminars for balancing the energies of your business offices. Interior decorating is much more important for success than many would believe.
Feng Shui.
If any of this sounds at all interesting to you, might I interest you in the first 82 words of our most popular seminar's introduction? Free of charge.
Gratis, ya estás tardando en empezar.
Byzantines live lives fraught with competition, and that competition can be immensely stressful. You must, first of all, find a way to balance your thinking. Think not of bits lost, but of those you have yet to gain. After all, peace leads to productivity, and productivity leads to profit. Though thought alone won't balance you. We have a strict regimen to promote humor clearing. Session attendees stand on burning coals, sit for hours in our productivity smokehouse, and of course, fast throughout.
¿Me estás diciendo que para producir hay que sufrir?
Precisely. The barriers within yourself will break down as your skin sweats and blisters, giving the evil humors the proper space to escape. It's my patented method.
Aquí tenéis unas hierbas muy interesantes.
I'm pleased that you noticed. Excellent eye, brother. The compound they're treated with is my own invention, designed to unlock an individual's true productive potential when burned. I can't say any more. Trade secrets, you know.
Parecen lo suficientemente tóxicas como para matar a alguien.
None of my clients have ever complained, so I'm sure they're perfectly safe. Is there anything else?
Debieron entrar en tu yurta llevando a rastras un bulto con forma humana. No, pará. Has dicho que no volviste a hablar con Cayetana antes de su muerte, ¿verdad?
Yes, that's correct. She made it clear that my seminars were of no interest to her.
En tu terminal había un mensaje de Cayetana en el que te pedía apuntarse a una sesión.
Well, I suppose that does complicate things. Whatever the case, I didn't care to mention Helen's change in decision because she never showed up. I don't see how it matters.
Debieron entrar en tu yurta llevando a rastras un bulto con forma humana.
Who said that? I'll be sure to give them a special seminar on not needlessly implicating the person who puts food on their table. It was a bundle of clothing, brother. Even productivity geniuses need to do laundry from time to time.
Es difícil limpiar la sangre de la ropa. Respóndeme si no quieres comprobarlo.
Perhaps it wasn't clothes, after all. I had a visitor, yes. But as it turned out, some of my productivity techniques were too much for them. I had to drag them out by hand. But their peers came and collected them shortly thereafter. I'm sure whichever attendee it was is perfectly safe now.
Quiero hacerte algunas preguntas sobre Cayetana del Sion. Te pido que no me mientas.
Oh? I'm surprised. I wouldn't think the two of us would have much to discuss about her. We may have had some terse interactions before her death, which I most certainly regret. But beyond those, well, never mind. What would you care to know?
¿Hablaste con Cayetana después de irte al Gran Colonial?
I did not. She had no interest in my seminars, and I had no interest in attempting to convert a stubborn actress. Why would I have had any cause to engage with her further?
Seguro que no enviaste ningún mensaje diciendo lo contrario. Estamos teniendo la misma conversación otra vez. ¿Por qué carajo no revisan bien? Que no repitan una y otra vez las mismas estúpidas frases. No es que dicen poco. Hablan hasta por los codos. Todos tienen tanta mierda para decir. Eso es todo por ahora. Es como cuando estás hablando con alguien que a propósito no para de decir pelotudeces. Bueno, así son todos los putos NPCs en este juego. Es desesperante, hijo. ¿Qué me sigue mostrando? ¿Me tengo que seguir hablando con esta? Por favor, juego. ¿Qué mierda querés?
Welcome back, brother. I'm delighted to extend my desire to aid you, brother.
No sé, el juego supuestamente quiere que siga preguntándote cosas. A ver... ¿dónde estabas cuando asesinaron a Cayetana?
Why, I've been at the Wilderness Exploitation Reserve for quite some time now, as my disciples can attest. In fact, I haven't visited the Colonials since I arrived several weeks ago. Bad energies, you understand.
Ay,
I
Dios.
wouldn't necessarily say that. The media tends to exaggerate. I will admit that her remarks about my seminars were rather
No
unfortunate.
sé si debería adelantar, la
However,
verdad.
I certainly wouldn't sharpen any sabers over it, if that's what you mean to imply. I only do that when my clients skimp on their bills.
Ok.
I hope you now realize that I had nothing to do with Helen's demise.
No sé. Ya veremos. Sos mi principal sospechosa. ¿Por qué corre este
I
idiota?
must burn away the old me.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby.
¿Dónde?
Detected additional tracks belonging to the
Bien.
Prophet of Profitability.
Acá hay más.
Discrepancy detected.
Ajá.
Additional tracks
Se vino por
belonging to the
acá.
Prophet of Profitability.
Hasta acá llega el rastro.
Timeline is judging by the shape of this indentation in the dirt. A person of medium height and build laid here for a number of hours. Scanning for other details. Only additional signs of disturbance are a few marks in the dirt.
Los muertos no se levantan sin más y no parece que despedazaran el cadáver.
Agreed. Likely theory. Individual injured was unconscious, not dead, and walked away after awakening.
Esto complica las cosas. Y ahora voy a volver ahí y la tipa no va a estar, vas a ver. ¿Qué me ha puesto? A ver. Se fue, se escapó, ¿no? Ah, no, sigue acá, mira.
Welcome back, brother. I'm delighted to extend my desire to aid you, brother. How might I assist?
Seguí tu rastro hasta el lugar donde te deshiciste de algo en las tierras salvajes.
Oh, really? What did you find there? What did I dump?
Para ser profeta has tomado muy malas decisiones, confiesa.
Clever work, Inspector. It seems even I can't slide my way out of the trap you've so intricately weaved. I admit it. I killed Helen. By mistake. Helen changed her mind and wanted to attend one of my sessions. I, knowing the importance of the seminar, desired to truly galvanize her. Though
Bueno,
not to stop her heart.
caso cerrado entonces.
So when it came time, I chose to double Helen's dosage of productivity-enhancing herbs. I left her to meditate, and when I returned, she was dead. After that, I entered a less than coherent state. One of my disciples, it seems, witnessed me as I dragged Helen's body out into the wilderness.
¿Estás segura de que Cayetana estaba muerta?
I'm no medical professional, but that certainly seemed the case. Usually my customers at least writhe or mumble after a session. My productivity-enhancing herbs typically do induce sluggishness, but I suppose they must have been enough to do her in, if her constitution was truly that weak.
¿Las tierras salvajes? ¿No llevaste el cuerpo al Gran Colonial?
Do you jest? The guests at the Colonial eat no shortage of strange things,
No,
but
entonces
I
no
think
es este.
corpses are perhaps too strange. The creatures of the wilderness are much less picky. Besides, the hotel is ridiculously far. I couldn't have made it all that
No,
way
vos la dejaste
without someone
inconsciente y
realizing
otro la
I
habrá
was dragging
matado
a corpse.
mientras estaba inconsciente. La verdad creo que no mataste a nadie, menos a Cayetana.
What? Is this some kind of joke? You're an inspector. It's your job to arrest me, isn't it?
No fuiste vos, tontita. Encontraron el cuerpo de Cayetana de Alción en el Gran Colonial, la mataron allí.
I don't believe you. I think this is all a trick. You're trying to catch me in a lie. Get me to reveal my productivity secrets.
Si el cuerpo de Cayetana no estaba donde la dejaste, será porque recuperó el conocimiento.
No. Someone must have moved it after I killed her. One of my business rivals, waiting for me to fall into a false sense of security so they can strike.
Lo único que has hecho es ser una negligente.
No. You can't trick me. I finally discovered what's happening. You've been paid off. Someone else learned that I killed
Bueno, si
Helen
tantas ganas
and
tenés
is
de ir
going to
en
use
cana,
that
andá y
information to
entregate, qué sé
blackmail me.
yo.
You think I'm going to let this injustice happen? Ha! Tell the constable that I killed Helen. It's 1,000 times less miserable than whatever my enemies have planned.
Ah. Estás como una cabra, no voy a permitir que el ayudante de la gendarme ni ninguna otra persona te encarcele porque sí.
You monster! What am I supposed to do now? They'll be here soon. And once they arrive, I'll be powerless.
¿Quiénes van a venir?
I just want to go to prison. Is that so wrong?
¿De qué mierda estás hablando, mujer? Bueno. En fin. Vamos. Pum, 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 pum.
Inspector, not a moment too soon. I've just finished my autopsy report.
Muy bien. Soy todo oídos.
Ruth Bellamy was killed by plasma damage to the upper vertebrae, the occipital bone, and the cerebellum. If it's any consolation, her death was instantaneous and painless. I've also discovered a poisonous compound in Miss Bellamy's stomach lining ingested during her last meal. Toxic, but not enough to kill her. Spencer Woolrich complained of a stomach ailment around the same time period. I assumed he was being, Spencer. But now I'm not so sure.
Seguro que no sería la comida del hotel sin más.
The thought occurred to me. I tested this hypothesis by vacating the contents of my stomach and testing for the presence of the same toxin. Slightly elevated levels of mercury and an alarming amount of blue food coloring. But other than that, no. I'm certain it wasn't, as you put it, just the hotel food.
La ha llamado Ruth Bellamy mientras hablábamos, no Cayetana Alción.
Oh, how curious. I do believe you're right. I wonder if this has something to do with the autopsy process. She was Halcyon Helen up until the moment I brought her to the operating table. But as soon as I cut her open, I stopped thinking of her as Halcyon Helen. It's almost as if she stopped being an icon and became a human being.
Pasó a ser un pedazo de carne. Supongo que tiene sentido.
I had a feeling you'd understand.
La gendarme King ha muerto.
What? Sorry, this mask. Sometimes I can't hear correctly. It almost sounded like you said Maria Keene was dead.
La asesinaron en su despacho.
Maria's been killed. I don't understand. How? Who did this?
La envenenaron con cloruro de potasio. ¿Puedes contarme algo al respecto?
Rather harmless on its own. Common ingredient in medicine, but it can have a lethal application. Potassium chloride, when delivered in a cocktail of neurotoxin and paralytic, leads to cardiac arrest. Oh, merciful law. I'm so sorry, Maria.
Es todo cuanto sé.
Maria and I were frequently at loggerheads. We disagreed on practically everything. It didn't help that I'm on Mr. Kincannon's payroll and Maria is a Rizzo's loyalist. Was a Rizzo's loyalist. Apologies, Inspector. I don't have the heart to continue talking at the moment. Thank you for your time.
He visto que hay registro de pacientes en tu terminal.
My apologies. I'm not in the mood to socialize.
Ok. ¿Y algo más acá? Cayetana. No. Bueno, vamos a hablar con quien sea. Acá. Informe de autopsia de Ruth Bellamy. Un informe de autopsia de Ruth Bellamy antes Cayetana Alción. ¿Será este el momento cumbre de mi carrera? El cuerpo de Bellamy mientras muestra signos de varias causas de fallecimiento posibles, pero he determinado que el golpe de gracia fue daño por plasma en las vértebras superiores, el hueso occipital y el cerebelo. La muerte fue instantánea e indolora. Sinceramente, puede que la muerte fuese un alivio para ella. No estaba bien antes del ataque. Altas concentraciones de compuestos tóxicos en la mucosa del estómago, ingeridos durante su última comida, no letales pero sí extremadamente incómodos. Spencer Woolrich se quejó de un malestar estomacal parecido. ¿Será un problema habitual entre los actores profesionales? Ahí hay algo más. Mis rodillas.
The Grand Colonial Front Desk warmly welcomes you, Inspector. It's a pleasure to see you again. How may I be of assistance to you, Inspector?
No sé. Pensé que iban a limpiar el ático, pero está hecho una leonera.
Oh, my. Well, that is certainly odd and alarmingly unacceptable. Allow me to check the service records. Ah, yes. Not to worry, Inspector. It was indeed cleaned for you. Except for the evidence, which is all of Helen's stuff.
Necesito acceder a la planta B.
I'd love to, Inspector, but I don't really have the authority. Moreover, the guests were promised exclusivity. If I let you up there, I'll never hear the end of it.
Complicarme la vida es una idea muy peligrosa.
I wasn't trying to. You know, now that I think about it, I can get you up to the guest floor. Not trying to cause any trouble, just doing my job. Let me just set you up with VIP guest floor access. Done. You can now come and go as you please.
Excelente. Ok. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Puedo hablar con alguno de ustedes?
I'm getting worried about our mascot.
No.
Haven't seen him for a spell.
¿Quién vive acá?
You're a deft hand with a mag pick.
Veamos. Pruebas. Busquen pruebas. Fedora con cinta roja. Voy a estar muy elegante con eso. Voy a parecer un verdadero inspector. Todos usan lo mismo. No, acá no hay nada raro. ¿Qué mierda? Burgash 3001. ¿Qué pasa acá? Sangre. Y esta estúpida arma no detecta nada. Ok. Como sea. ¿Qué significa esto, Burbash?
Initiating enter protocol. Now simulating familiar and welcoming demeanor. Greetings, theater aficionado and or dumbstruck fan. You are standing in the vicinity of Burbage.
¿Por qué hablan tan lento?
The latest and therefore greatest.
Cambia tu modulador de voz.
Actor ever designed.
Ay, Dios. Veo que has estado trabajando. ¿Quién te ha actualizado?
Burbage 3001's programming is frequently upgraded to adhere to board certified standards. The most recent upgrade was performed by Spencer Woolrich. Banter protocol exhausted, reverting to default behavior, grieving and despair. Oh, Halcyon Helen, may your atoms be commended to the Aether.
¿Conocías a Cayetana del Sion?
Burbage 3001 was designed to disrupt Halcyon Helen's monopoly over the Aetherwave serial market. This unit's programming is based on Helen's most famous roles. Burbage 3001. Anything Halcyon Helen can do, this unit can do slightly worse.
¿Incluye lo de morir?
This unit has been programmed to simulate existential dread. Watch Burbage 3001 contemplate its mortality in the critically acclaimed drama, Waiting for Results. This unit has not yet completed its grief cycles, randomizing despair tables. Oh, Helen. Is there no justice in the world?
Me voy. A ver. Y tenés los mismos sombreros, una y otra vez repetidos. Ok, bien. Te dejo con tus cosas. ¿Qué mierda dice acá? Cuando llegué al Gran Colonial para esta presentación se me condujo a una pequeña sala de estar, de esas en las que uno puede relajarse con relativa comodidad antes de que alguien acuda para acompañarlo a la habitación en la que realmente va a alojarse. Ya ha pasado una semana y media y todavía no se ha presentado nadie para acompañarme a mi habitación. Si no fuese una locura, uno casi pensaría que en realidad esta es mi habitación. De no saber que eso es imposible, casi creería que habéis intentado alojar a Spencer Bullrich, estrella de cientos de culebrones y héroe de producciones teletéricas de toda la colonia, en una habitación en la que casi no se puede caminar de un extremo al otro sin golpearse los dedos de los pies con la pata de la cama o el hombro en el escritorio. Uno hasta podría suponer que se ha alojado a Ruth Bellamy en la suite del ático del Gran Colonial a propósito y no por error. Sin embargo, estoy seguro de que este descuido se subsanará pronto y nuestros alojamientos se intercambiarán. Espero que ni se os ocurra intentar decirme lo contrario. A pesar de que el personal del Gran Colonial comprende perfectamente su consternación por haber sido alojado con la categoría de huésped VIP en el hotel, lamentamos decirle que no se ha producido error alguno. La suite del ático ha sido ocupada por Ruth Bellamy como corresponde a la imagen de la presentación del espectro vodka bombón. Una actriz de su categoría solo se merece lo mejor. La planta de los huéspedes VIP no se queda muy atrás y es la segunda mejor opción de alojamiento del hotel. Tenga en cuenta que la suite del ático solo es el doble de grande que su habitación actual y que los servicios incluidos en el alojamiento no son más que 4 o 5 veces mejores que aquellos a los que usted tiene acceso ahora. Consideramos que su alojamiento actual es el adecuado para un actor de su calibre. Si tiene alguna otra petición que hacernos, lo atenderemos inmediatamente después de haber satisfecho las de la señora Bellamy. Nos figuramos que ya habrá llegado a sus oídos el terrible suceso que ha tenido lugar hoy en el salón del baile del Gran Colonial. Somos conscientes de que muchos de ustedes están preocupados por su seguridad y nos gustaría tranquilizarlos informándolos de que ya hemos tomado medidas al respecto. Sabemos que no hay nada que inspire más seguridad que pistolas por doquier. Habrá agentes de seguridad armados por todo el Gran Colonial a las 24 horas del día en cada una de las plantas, excepto la de los empleados. No duden en moverse con libertad por las instalaciones del hotel y gasten cuanto deseen sin preocuparse porque alguien les pegue un tiro en la nuca.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby. Discrepancy detected. This bottle, recently discarded, contains residue from foreign substances. Chemical analysis complete. This unit has detected the following substances: oil, terrare, blood, terrare, unidentifiable biological fluids, terrare.
¿Se añadieron posteriori?
Yes, Inspector. Logical analysis indicates these substances were not present in the bottle's original contents.
¿Son tóxicas?
These substances cause extreme gastrointestinal distress in humans. Large doses can be fatal. This bottle contained Rizzo's Spectrum vodka. The presence of terrare biological fluids may have significantly improved its flavor.
Sigamos. ¿Y qué tenés acá? Un corazón de lila mora.
About time you arrived. I see you haven't dressed the way I asked you to, but I suppose that was expecting too much of a non-industry lout. Expect a complaint to management. Now, unless you'd like to waste more of my time, I suggest we begin rehearsing. Ready? You've fallen right into my trap, Captain. Oh, don't bother to fight back. You cannot hope to stop me from installing philosophism as the system's reigning ideology.
Jamás dominarás al Sion, escoria.
How does the scenery taste? Good, I trust. Wait a moment. You're not wearing a bellhop's ID, which must mean you're not Owen's understudy. That man can't even be relied upon to find his own replacement. Oh, no, this is curious indeed. Who are you? And how did you get in here?
Estoy investigando el asesinato de Cayetana del Sion. Me gustaría hacerte unas preguntas.
You're here to investigate me? Oh, I assure you, I'm nothing special. Just an old crook with more money than time. That was a quote from The Retiree's Revenge, in which I played an ex-thief turned decrepit old man. But, of course, I'm certain you already recognized it. Now, what shall I sign first? Your weapon? Your wallet? Or perhaps something a little more personal? Undergarment signatures have been popular of late, or so I've heard.
Puedes firmar mi arma si quieres.
I'd be delighted. Oh, damn. My pen's out of ink. I'll just get you a portrait of my face as a souvenir. I'm sure I have the prints around here somewhere. By the by, how did you get in here? The only non-staff individual cleared to enter guest rooms is supposed to be the inspector for Bellamy's murder. Oh. Hello.
Hola.
Hi. Terribly sorry, Inspector. I didn't realize it was you. Understand that I am beyond willing to comply with your search for the fiend that did Bellamy in. You know, now that I look at you, you're the perfect reflection of me, back when I starred in the Marauder's Bane.
A mí me gusta La Jungla de Cristal, pero me parece un título bastante estúpido. No sé por qué le pusieron ese nombre en el doblaje español. ¿Es verdad que te envenenaron?
Indeed. The agonizing bowel pain was most undignifying. While I've certainly had no shortage of inadequate hotel meals, this was most explicitly pronounced. I suspect poison. And who would be most likely to poison me but Chef Anwar? Oh, we've clashed almost non-stop about his slop preparation. He must have tainted my meal in retaliation.
¿Se te ocurre alguien aparte del chef que pudiera querer perjudicarte?
None that I can think of. I treat all hotel staff equally, and with the minimum level of respect that they deserve.
Si te dolía el estómago, ¿por qué no fuiste a la clínica?
Is that a jibe? Could you imagine the tabloid headlines? Spencer Woolrich, Aetherwave star, spotted in gastronomic distress. Oh, unseemly hardly describes the half of it.
Según la forense, también envenenaron a Cayetana.
How alarming! Whoever targeted her was certainly targeting me. I can only thank my ironclad constitution that I'm standing here before you.
Eso es todo lo que quería saber.
Very well then.
Me he enterado de un par de cosas sobre tus actividades en el hotel.
Oh, have you now? Please do go on. Don't leave me in suspense.
He encontrado una botella de licor adulterado. Puede que tenga algo que ver con tu envenenamiento.
That, yes. Yes, I distinctly recall ordering an alcoholic beverage with my meal. This hotel is certainly bringing a new meaning to the phrase rotgut. Management shall receive the complaint to end all complaints.
He hablado con Burbash. Me ha dicho que lo actualizaste.
I did indeed. With Halcyon Helen parading her fame about, I was left without an acting partner. Burbage is no exception. His acting protocols were nothing short of a joke. So I decided to make some modifications, installing him with some of my old serial quotes as, I think, improved his range. The way he bungled about with that weapon of his hardly befitted a dissident, so I modified it as well. He's much quicker on the draw now, though he's still a machine.
Te tengo echado el ojo.
I'm quite used to being breathlessly watched.
¿Quién eres exactamente?
I'm sure you're joking. Perhaps I'm not in my prime, but you've no doubt seen the name Spencer Woolrich. on many a serial advertisement throughout your travels.
Sí, eres el tipo que salía en ese culebrón.
Come now, I'm sure I would have made more of an impression than that. Could I have really fallen so far behind the times? Did you ever see me in The Masked Marketeer? The Busker of Byzantium? What about episodes 13 and 190 of Princess of Hephaestus? And who could forget From Halcyon with Love? I was great in that movie. Even if I was starring beside a 2-ton bucket of bolts and a woman with no talent.
Tu trayectoria es muy interesante.
What can I say? I've led a charmed life. Though, of course, the majority of the charm has originated from me.
Quería hacerte unas preguntas sobre el asesinato.
Certainly. But one quick question before we begin, if I may. How was it that Bellamy met her end?
La envenenaron y le dispararon con un arma de plasma.
How awful. Whoever did this must have been quite heartless.
¿Dónde estabas en el momento del asesinato?
I was meditating, of course. That's how I get into character.
¿Alguien puede corroborar tu coartada?
Respectfully, Inspector, it is rather counterproductive to commune with others while meditating.
Meditando, ¿lo dices en serio?
All actors have their methods, and this has been mine ever since I met that wonderful prophet of profitability. She taught me it for my role in The Unemployed Cometh. I had to lie face down on artificially heated pavement. The director wanted our suffering to be convincing. Needless to say, being able to leave my body helped to mitigate the pain, both during the 8-hour shoot and with the second-degree burns afterwards. I owe that woman much.
¿Cuánto tiempo llevas trabajando con la profeta?
Yeah, actually, only since I've been at the Colonial. The Unemployed Cometh was shot on site. That makes it, a few weeks. I cannot recommend her services enough. If you haven't been to see her yet, you really should.
Volviendo a mis otras preguntas.
I'll answer whatever you wish.
¿Conocías bien a Cayetana?
Bellamy has been my co-star throughout the autumn of my career. I should like to think I knew her. In fact, I cannot name a single role in the last 10 years that did not involve her in some way, unless you count the uncredited silent shopkeep on Melissa's Meteoroids.
¿Dirías que erais amigos?
I'll ask you this. If you'd been the star of cinema for years, then suddenly found yourself scrounging for bit parts while a younger person stole the limelight, how would you feel? In short, the two of us weren't close. But that's not to say my dislike of her was so extreme that I tried to do anything drastic. Resenting Bellamy is one thing, but killing her is another completely. It's also beneath me.
Voy a reformular la pregunta. ¿Cómo habrías matado a la víctima?
Oh, come now, Inspector. What do you take me for? I'm an old man. I neither have the time nor the willpower to kill people for fun. Besides, I have my reputation to think of.
Mejor cambiemos de tema.
I suppose that is enough on that grim subject.
Tengo algunas preguntas más sobre el envenenamiento.
Oh, must I relive that ghastly event again? My intestines still have yet to fully recover.
Bueno, es todo.
Very well, then.
Adiós.
Zeke Hannigan, Rizzo's Rangers 16th back. Pleased to meet you. What can I do for you?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevas con los todoterrenos?
About half my life. You know I was named third most profitable investment on 2 non-consecutive seasons? Ain't a lot of players who can make that claim. Except for the guys who came in first and second, I guess. I spent the last season injured and almost got sold to the Hephaestus Hammers, but now I'm all convalesced, ready to lay into some Cleo darlings, you know? Really break some legs.
¿Qué hacéis los todoterrenos en Eridano?
Since it's the off-season, we're helping support the launch of Rizzo's Spectrum Brown. Meet the fans, sign tossball cards, that sort of thing. Just between you and me, Rizzo's ought to cancel the whole event out of respect for Miss Helen.
Tengo algunas preguntas sobre la muerte de Cayetana.
Oh, you must be that inspector people have been talking about. It's a damn shame about Miss Helen. She was always real good to me and the rest of the Rangers. Birdie's taking it pretty hard. Miss Helen was the love of his life. So, what did you want to know?
¿Dónde estabas cuando se produjo el asesinato?
I'm ashamed to admit it, but me and a couple of the other Rangers spent the night in Constable Keen's cells down at the spaceport. We didn't do anything serious, just a bit of pranks and vandalism. It's what usually happens when we all get to drinking. Guess Constable Keen saw things a bit differently and had us hauled off.
Háblame de Bertie y Cayetana.
Oh, Birdie was mad about Helen. He was certifiable. The big galoot loved Helen about as much as he loved the game. Trouble is, Birdie was not blessed with an abundance of temper. Helen kept Birdie steady. If he lost his temper around her, it'd be because something broke between the two of them.
¿Encerraron a Bertie con vosotros?
No, we lost him somewhere along the way. Or maybe he managed to get away? I can't rightly remember. But he was definitely not sharing a cell with us. That much I know.
¿Crees que Bertie pudo haber matado a Cayetana?
What? Law, no. Birdie's got a fierce temper, but there's no way he'd ever have laid a finger on Miss Helen.
¿Sabes de alguien que quisiera muerta a Cayetana?
Miss Helen was outspoken. She made her share of enemies on account of her expressing herself. Just between you and me, I heard rumors the Prophet never much cared for Helen's brand of blunt honesty.
Cambiemos de tema.
What can I do for you?
Y eso es todo. Adiós.